Any questions for my entrepreneur daughter can be tabled till after I'm done speaking, thank you. Hey, I was worried where our offense would come from tonight with Jordy out, and the answer is a whole lot of people, and I think that's emblematic of this team from, you know what, next guy up, let's just get it done. We look like a team that had come off a 25-point loss and weren't real happy about it. We beat a really good team out there. They had to play shorthanded. But I think some of that had to do with us. I think we took them out of some of the stuff that they wanted to do, and I certainly I appreciate the talent level that they have on that team. At the end of the year, that's going to be a really good win. And you know what? They played without some guys. We played without some guys too. So good team win. I didn't feel 89 points coming on driving to the convo today. I can tell you that right now. That was not something that I foresaw us doing. Questions?
How good has Mike Laster been this year? I know it's an easy question, but he continues to be that senior that every coach in America kind of wants on their team. The guy that's gotten better every year and is leading by example in this final season.
Well, and not leading by example, I don't know, off the court, if you can get kids that invest like that and work like he did, his success out there has been a direct result of the effort that he's put in and the lack of time that he spent pouting early in his career when it wasn't going his way. He came to work every day. And I'm sure if you asked him, he wasn't real happy with his role at times along the way. But he also was part of a team first and foremost and just kept working. There are a lot of people in this world that would be well served, both college students, high school students, and adults would be well served patterning themselves after Mike Laster.
35 free throws, not the most entertaining brand of basketball, but you made
I
31
thought
of
it was
them.
a roller coaster. We made it entertaining at the end.
But 31 out of 35, I mean, that's one of the major differences in the game, and you guys have been kind of up and down at the stripe this year.
Yeah,
so
it's been feast or famine, it seems like, and that'll get us up over 70% for the year. But we haven't gotten to the line a whole lot. We've been a 3-point based team for the most part, and we were heading on pace to do that in the second half. But then we started finding some cracks inside that we could get to, and certainly having Colby off the floor a little bit there in the second half helped too. But can't say enough about the way I say it all the time. I'm going to keep saying it. A basketball game, you're simply trying to solve a problem as a group. And tonight there were a lot of problems out there that were fairly large, and we figured out a way to get through it.
What would you say was most problematic about the last 2 minutes? Obviously, they threw up the pressure a little bit with the press, but
I've still got post-traumatic stress syndrome after that one, and I can't comment. I'm a little jumpy here. The turnovers were obviously the key, and you know, out of TK in that situation, he's a freshman. I don't like it, but I certainly need to understand that every point guard has games that they point back to and say, "Hey, I can do that better." The irony is that if you're going to measure basketball IQ, Gavin's the smartest guy in our locker room, but that just goes to show you that temporary insanity can creep in, and it looked a little bit like the end of the Alabama A&M game. Just really poor decisions. The one that started it all off was we pushed in transition. When we pull it out, we're down to 1:30 left in the game, and they have to start fouling immediately, but we tried to dunk in transition. Then we take the ball out of bounds, and if you've ever been at one of our practices, the rule that we have is run the baseline. Well, we stared right at it and tried to dump it in, and they picked it off and hit a three. Those two things right there, that starts to snowball. Then you start to get a little tight, we go 31 for 35 from the field. One of them's a missed front end with a minute to go. All right. So at the end of the day, and foul a 3-point shooter late. you can only learn by doing. In fairness to my players, I haven't been able to go through a whole lot of situations with them in the past month here because of our numbers. But that's no excuse, because the mistakes we made shouldn't need to be taught, I wouldn't think. I think most of us in here would probably be able to say, yep, that's the wrong play, that's the wrong play. Tried to save the ball underneath our own hoop and gave up 2 points that way. Where if you just take it out of bounds or just throw it to the other end of the court, we're going to be okay. Again, there's a huge difference. You can make silly plays and still be a very smart basketball player. That happened a bunch to us down the stretch, and it made life way too interesting. It would have been an absolute crime for us to give that bad boy up after how we played the first 35 minutes.
You mentioned you took them out of what they wanted to do. One of those things was Bearden fouled out. He only played 12 minutes. How big was that for you guys, just to kind of limit him to 12 minutes?
Really big, because we've seen obviously what he can do when he was at Buffalo. And I recruited him when I was at North Dakota State. I was his first scholarship offer. I've got a lot of respect for that kid's game, and TK can get under your skin now, and I think that happened a little bit. There's no question about that. Really heady for a freshman to come in here and like TK and get the best out of one of the better mid-major point guards in America on a night like tonight. It's a pretty good effort.
James Golan didn't need this kind of game to justify his trajectory of late, but what can it do for him moving forward?
Well,
after having a half like that?
Contrast this with was it the Capital game or was it the Alabama A&M game where he had like 4 wide open ones, and it was just painful. It was just, you could see him grinding on it and grinding on it. And tonight he's out there bouncing around. He made some good plays in the defensive end too early on. Somebody needed to imitate Jordan Dartis tonight, and he did a pretty good job of it.
And even though he hits the three threes in a row, and you guys are all telling him to shoot more, and then the rest of the game, he shoots 3 more. He took 7 shots.
I'd like to see
you know what I mean?
It's a little more random who's getting the shots when you're going against switching zone defenses, and that's okay. It's kind of how we like to play anyway. We don't necessarily just pound you in one way the entire game. That's not the identity of this team. So there are times where it comes in bunches and it goes away, but I would have liked to seen him obviously get a couple more shots after he got off to such a quick start. I told him at Maryland if he didn't shoot the ball more, I was going to bench him. How's that for an ultimatum? That ever happened to you in high school? Your coach ever tell you, shoot the ball more, I'm going to bench you? Probably not. I know my coach never had to tell me that.
It worked out. You started Kevin, trying to match up with their size on a one-game basis. Is that the reason you got them out there?
Yeah, it was simply I looked at their roster, and it was going to be a problem for Gavin to handle Johnson inside, so I'm choosing between our 3 entire bench players, and why not put the one of the more size in there. But I also think that Kevin's really earned his minutes. I don't think he was given much, and there are scenarios where he starts again this year, even if we're healthy. I've got to be probably a little more open to changing my starting lineups so that we get the minutes balance we want in a given game. But 34 minutes out of the kid, that's pretty heady stuff.
What can you say? Because just the way he would go straight into the guys, I think it was Johnson who was guarding him most of the night, just going straight into his chest with the shoulder and bashing him back. What can you say about just his physique?
He's a cyborg.
Yeah.
If he has a wrist problem, we do it like the Terminator. We just cut it open, work on the levers a little bit. That might be too early for these guys. You remember it.
Yeah.
Terrific scene. He does a really good job of getting his shoulders into his man, and because he's a little undersized, he can get that shot off because the release point is a long way away from him. You can get that.
I know one person whose phone goes off during
Next time it rings out, I'll answer it. Who are you and what do you want with my daughter? That's coming, that
Mom.
speech. Well, okay, well, I know what she wants. But he's blossomed, and he's become more patient, and he's become more fluid. He's always been a phenomenal athlete, but he's really really worked at his craft and really, I mean, he's indispensable. What would we do without him right now, quite honestly?
You spoke about the free throws already, but with the Iona game, it kind of, one of the big reasons why you guys lost that tight one was some missed free throws at the end. And even though TK's miss on the front end obviously hurt here, still 31 of 35. How encouraging was that to sort of see that effort from your group and make the difference?
Well, 31 for 35 is extremely good, but we should be a good free throw shooting team. When we shoot free throws in practice, as a group, as an entire group, we're hitting them a little above 80%. So, okay, what's causing us not to do it in the game? Is it fatigue? Is it nerves? Is it combination thereof? With everybody on our team, the more they get on the court, the more they perform, the more confidence you get, and then it just snowballs and snowballs. So hopefully we can ride this a little bit, because if it would have been anything less than that, it would have gotten real scary late. No question about it.
Jason Carter got 19 minutes tonight. Is that on track a little bit more?
I might have cheated by 3 minutes.
And given that he certainly doesn't appear to be worried about his leg any longer with the amount of floor contact he had.
No, he's getting more and more comfortable, and you're going to see him skew toward more and more minutes. No question about it. Basically, we'll take a peek at how it's feeling here in the next couple days. Our guys gonna have exams, so we got a couple days off so that they can just study a little bit, and then when he comes back on Wednesday, I'm gonna need him to be real clear with me how it feels. And I mean, there's a huge difference. Him going lane line or to end on that drive was a huge point in the game. Him turning the corner on that screen and roll was a huge point in the game. So he makes impactful plays even when he's not scoring. Tonight he had 3 assists, 1 turnover. The guy's a winner, and he's just a winner. And I'm looking around there at the end of the game. It's been default late in the game, get the ball to Jordy for free throws. Well, he's not out there, and I saw a calmness in Jason that made me want to get him the ball for free throws down the stretch. I just, you look in their eyes and try to figure out if they really want that thing or if they're running away to the other end.
You got an update on Jordan?
No, I didn't. Other than I walked in to shoot around today and he was still in a boot, and I'm like, that's a pretty good sign. And then he walks over to me just to be real clear. He goes, "You starting Kevin tonight?" I'm like, okay, well, then you're not playing. So I literally haven't had he's rehabbing. He'll be back at some point. I would hope 6 days is enough, but I don't make those decisions. Medical people do. And I'm already in trouble with them for playing Jason 3 more minutes than I should have. I'll take it. By the way, we had to win tonight. Santa was on our side. That was, we would have blown that lead. We'd all been on the naughty list.
Anything else?
I asked Santa if he was a senior. He said, by a lot. So.